Dear colleagues, it gives me great pleasure to be presenting to you this short presentation as part of the 4-part talk with my 3 other colleagues. Out of necessity, I have to record mine through a TV facility. I wasn't able to come in person, but hope that by showing you this thing through a video, you'll still be able to enjoy it. The title is Creative Ways of Adapting and Using Authentic Videos in the ESP Classroom to Bridge Gaps in Commercially Produced Materials. So without any further ado, you're aware of the content of the talk. So if I could actually show you briefly the organization of the talk. So after the introduction and specific examples and some advice, I'll also mention some professional literature, and I will share with you some conclusions related to the ways how we can use video MP4 materials in EAP and ESP classes. So probably to engage you in my talk, please now follow these instructions on the screen. Please watch this 3-minute video sequence and think if it's useful for an EAP ESP classroom and how you would use it, if at all, in your own classes. Think please what are potential benefits of using such a video sequence in EAP and ESP classes, and please remember that this is actually an authentic video recording and it has not been used in commercially produced materials before.
Weifang is often called the world capital of kites. It is located on the windswept northeastern province of Shandong. The International Kite Festival. This is the 34th time that this competition has been held. It attracts 40 teams from around the world. The event also combines the 13th World Kite Championships, where many come to unveil their most creative kite designs. After the opening ceremony, the competitors launched their cutting-edge creations. Young Xuan has several kites in the competition this year, but now it's time to fly his showpiece design. A giant octopus. It takes a number of people to hold it down. It's not just flying ability that's judged. Overall design and innovation are crucial factors in winning the competition.
这个呢，一个是按照比赛规则，一个是看它的工艺。工艺呢制作精细，造型呢只有完美。这是起飞呢，按照设计要求起飞平稳。这个呢也是看裁判呢，他们也有一部分个人喜好。
But this year, his passion and his expertise are rewarded, and he wins the competition. Young Xuan also launches a retro wood frame kite, inspired by an ancient design. A homegrown invention that spread, like a lot of Chinese innovations and pastimes, along the Silk Road to the rest of the world.
Well, you've seen the video, probably you've got some ideas on your mind, and let me share with you my ideas. So, commercially produced materials in ESP and EAP. What is missing? Where are the gaps? Where are the lacunae? And why, in my case, this video sequence? Please take a look. Well, first of all, to me, this video clip was ideal. It's short and complete. There was no need to cut or edit the actual sequence. It's set in a memorable context with highly evocative imagery. I hope you agree with me. It's narrated in a very natural manner with a reasonable speed that wouldn't present too much difficulty to learners. And simple natural language has been used, but good spoken grammar and non-colloquial vocabulary, and at least some of it presented using an appropriate academic register. Furthermore, no language overload, at least I feel this way. In my case, I used this particular video sequence with my Chinese students in Dalian, in China, in Transnational education. The students liked it, and probably before they can relate to it, the actual video sequence doesn't contain any exophoric references, and they can empathize and identify with the actual topic. I felt that this particular video sequence was ideal for a dictation, and I played it actually 6 or 7 times to 2 different groups of students. I feel that it's a communicative dictation, CLT style, and in a way there is an element of information gap as well, because once we finished the task, the students engaged in pair work and group work to compare their answers before they tried to arrive at a final version of the actual dictation. And as a piece of teaching material, it's reusable and recyclable. It is a recurrent event in China, so if a tutor teaches there, you can still use it next year. And please now take a look at, well, of course I had around 50 student worksheets, but I'm going to show you 2. This is one example. And now please have a look at the second example. These are authentic sheets of students' work. So you can see they really went through some kind of trials and tribulations trying to decode whatever was actually mentioned in that sequence. However, it was done in a memorable context and they enjoyed it. I do not think I would have been able to find such a piece of material in commercially produced books for many reasons. I don't really have time to mention them, but probably you will agree that in my particular context, the use of these materials was actually justified. Now moving on, some specific examples how I myself used, and you can use other non-commercially produced authentic video materials for teaching purposes. In the UK, for years on end, we've been watching the so-called Royal Institution Christmas lectures, usually a series of 5 custom-made, high-quality lectures shown at Christmas, either on BBC 2 or on Channel 4. And as it happens, even though the primary audience are supposed to be secondary school children, adults possibly enjoy these lectures as much as these pupils, simply because these lectures are so informative, full of excellent content with, again, excellent visuals and excellent realia. You have a link there which you can actually click afterwards to see how it works. In this particular case, I'm showing you a screenshot of a lecture devoted, in this particular case, to breaking the speed limit. Another example of authentic video materials that I've been using, and again, it's British TV, it's the so-called Horizon series, science focused on the face of it, but also dealing with arts very often. And over here, we are not dealing with lectures, but with highly engaging documentaries dealing with very interesting content and presented to viewers in a very engaging manner. And again, such materials can be of assistance and use to international students, in particular for whom English is actually a second or a foreign language. Again, you have a link there, and in this particular case, I'm showing you a sample of a Horizon program which is called What Makes Art Valuable, well, to users. So you can see art is also included in these programs. Moving on, other examples. Non-commercially produced is not always the case. Sometimes we have commercially produced materials which were not originally produced for teaching purposes, but they can be adapted by teachers for use in the classroom. And in this particular case, ESP-wise, I thought if, for example, we have students studying English for aviation, we could easily use with them very engaging comical series called Come Fly With Me. You can see a link there, you can click it afterwards. And this particular series is ideal for use with future international air traffic controllers, flight attendants, and anyone who will be working in the aviation industry, simply because the sketches and scenarios are so realistic. And in this particular case, we have FlyLo's ground crew strike with a very interesting situation and excellent use of language demoed that students can actually emulate in the future by watching it. Moving on, authentic videos. Probably many of you have been involved in teaching TOEFL and IELTS. And in IELTS itself, there is the so-called paper 2, which involves writing an essay based on prompts. In this particular case, you can actually see prompts asking students to produce an essay about cement and concrete production. And I said to myself, well, this is a little bit dry and clinical. Why not inject some real life into it? Is it really sufficient the way it is? And what I did, I searched and searched through YouTube, and I found a very interesting short documentary dealing particularly with cement production. You've got a link here. I can actually click it, but of course we don't have time to watch it. And you can explore this sequence afterwards by yourselves. I hope you see my point. And now, how I've been able to use video recordings for classroom assessment and benchmarking good practice. In case you're not aware of the potential of Panopto, this is actually excellent software which has been adopted by a number of international universities. It allows you to capture the interactions in the classroom, either a lecture given by a tutor or a teacher doing teacher training or students making presentations. And Panopto probably is something that has revolutionized and enriched my teaching. I can't really live without it anymore. And you've got a couple of links there which you can explore afterwards to see how effectively I've been using Panopto in my own teaching experience at various universities. If you really wish to find out what kind of software you can use for capturing and editing authentic video materials from the internet, in my experience, the most effective one is NCH Debut Video Capture Software. There are even tutorials on how to use it on YouTube, so you may wish to experiment with this. It's one of my favorite types of software. And please remember that in English language teaching we have a lot of methodological guidance on how to use video in the classroom. Please take a look at a topical publication from the British Council. And naturally, there are lots of journal articles that actually help us with this as well. And finally, to conclude, I won't be saying this, please just take a look because time is actually running out. So these are the benefits of using non-commercially produced materials in the ELT EAP and ESP Classroom. I hope you have enjoyed my short presentation. You will have access to it after this particular mini symposium, and you can always get in touch with me using one of the 2 email addresses which you can see in this slide. Thank you very much, and hope to see all of you next year at another TESOL conference. Bye-bye.